Sonic Talk.
Hello everybody, welcome to Sonic Talk episode 612, here recording today on Wednesday the 25th of March 2020. You'll know it's 2020 because 2020 is the year that we all had to stay in for a while, which I'm sure all of you, there's no point in beating around the bush. Some of you may be going stir crazy, some of you may be kicking back and enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll help focus your minds on all things to do with electronic music production, synthesizers, software, music production of all kinds, live performance, though perhaps not in front of an audience at the moment. All of the things that surround the technology of making and performing music. That's what we're about at Sonic Talk. And I want to thank all my guests for joining us and all of you out there. I hope you're all safe and well and doing the best you can in a difficult situation. But we'll try and keep things cheerful and inspiring as much as we possibly can. We also want to say thank you very much to our friends over at Isotope. Isotope are going to be providing a prize again for this week, which is a copy of Ozone 9 Advanced, which is the perfect thing if you're staying at home and finishing those mixes. Now you can master them and finish them off with your Ozone 9 Advanced if you win that. Anyway, we will bring you details on that competition a little bit later. Let's say hello to everybody, our guests. We'll start over here in sunny Brighton. Well, everywhere in the UK seems to be sunny at the moment. Matt Hodson, who we haven't seen for a long time, maths, performer, educator, music producer, and modular specialist. I can see you've got a little bubble wrap on top of your cases there. So are you putting it all back together?
I am,
in
yeah.
his new place, I should add, which looks lovely.
Yeah, that's why I've been on. I've been moving and I'm just resetting everything back up, actually, and deciding which modules to keep and what to keep in the rack. I've kind of gone very minimalism here. I've got rid of so much stuff that I wasn't using. And I suppose I've spent a bit of this time, we'll probably talk about this, but I've spent a bit of this time deciding what is essential, what haven't I used for a long time, what do I want to keep, and that kind of thing. So gone super minimal here at the minute.
Yeah,
but it's great to be back on.
And well, it's lovely to have you. And I'm glad you're here and is in your new pad, which the previous one was the chapel, and now you're in the lighthouse, we're calling it.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a house with lots of light, but it's got a curvy front, so it does look a bit like a lighthouse. Very, very nice.
Yeah,
and,
I'm lighthouse keeper.
I will move 100 miles up the country, going north to Mr. Charles Chicky Reeves, who's there in his studio somewhere in the depths of London, which is got a lovely. It looks very delightful. I like the kind of tone of light in there and the sort of it's a lovely place
lighting
to work.
Is super important to me. I love lighting. So I've gone the exact opposite of Matt. I'm going super maximalist, if possible. So,
acquisitional.
Big rack of keyboards right here. There's another rack of keyboards there. Yeah, but I'm doing so much keyboard stuff now and preparing to do a few like live streaming things and so forth. Music, not anything competing with this, of course. But so I'm just kind of changing the studio over for that new way of thinking.
And is that a Hydrosynth you've got there? You like?
Yes. I love this keyboard. I love it. It's so cool. I love the ribbon controller on it. It's fantastic. I've only gotten through maybe the first 120 presets in it, and there are no stinkers in there anywhere. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, for creating, it's a really great programming synth. That's the one thing to. Yeah. I know lots of people are probably going, "Curse you! We can't get hold of them yet." Or obviously now distribution is somewhat compromised. So yeah, but it's a lovely instrument.
It just came in. In fact, I've only had it for a few days. I got it, and right before things started really going, as I say in this country, pear-shaped. So I was able to get, I ordered it. It got here the next day. I was really happy about that. And then lockdown. And here we go. So there you go. I got time to learn it now. So that's always a good thing.
Yes, absolutely.
I have a question for you, Nick, by the way. Is that a new mic you have?
No, this is it's just the Rode
I thought you had like an RE20 or something.
Pod
before.
mic. I think maybe I've just moved it so you can see it a bit more clearly. 'Cause
I see, okay.
I actually broke it down a couple of days yesterday, thinking I might have to make a dash for home because
I see.
because obviously, you know, I don't know whether I'm going to be allowed out, but the announcement came and it's like, if you have to go to work, you can go to work, but I don't know how long that's going to go on. You know, obviously that caveat emptor.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much for joining us, also Chicky, and also Mr. Gaz Williams there in it's his anechoic chamber.
Yes, indeed. And do you know what? I had a really funny idea then when Charles was talking. How cool would it be to get to a collection together, everybody's ideas of the worst patches in all of history, like all the stink, just like a compendium of the worst patches, round them all up, and then challenge people to make things from just the worst patches of all time. There we go. So that's my thought.
That's an interesting idea. That's a great kind of isolation challenge there, Gaz.
Isolation challenge, yeah. And everybody, wow. I mean, wow. How thankful I am that I am part of this amazing, amazing global community. My goodness. Right now as well, time and as the kind of unbelievable era we're living in, you know, I just feel really, I don't know, the community feels brilliant, and I'm so thankful to be part of it. So I just want to say that first. And, you know, obviously hope everybody's well and keeping safe, all of that kind of thing. Yeah, however, but this is an exciting time as well from creativity. I mean, the intensity of the creativity that's going to be going on right now is, wow, it's dynamite. And I mean, you know, just before the show, I was saying now is the time to get, you know, to really live your dreams with your gear, you know, make those things. Now is the time. I mean, it really is the time. And wow, how good it is that we've got something that we could really get super deep into, you know, super deep, and immerse yourselves into it. We're allowed to. I mean, this is a time. This is the time to do it.
Yeah,
you know,
not working as much anyway. No, I think I appreciate and echo those sentiments. Absolutely. Interesting. Just coming back to the worst patch challenge, are we allowed to have all those really sort of crappy General MIDI sort of bird whistle, bird tweet, and those sort of things, or do they have to be actually made by a human programmer as a sort of musical patch rather than just the sound effects patch? I don't know what everybody thinks about that as a. What do we think?
I would think it would. I would think it'd have to be a patch that was made, that someone actually sat and made this and then go, oh,
do you think
this is pretty cool?
I wonder if that's a bit that could lead to some very people's nose put out a joint, you know, and like, so no, I think that's the only thing we're trying to spread harmony. Maybe it only includes General MIDI patches, you know. Maybe we should flip it around and do it that way.
I'm curious though that there may be some sort of patch that no one likes, but patch designers always have to do a certain amount of those patches for this, but everybody actually hates it, you know. So it's like it might unearth some things that have just sort of polite society is kind of covered up somehow.
It's funny, isn't it? Synthesizers which require a certain number of, you know, I mean, as we get, synthesizers have more and more and more sounds in, and there's always a piano-y sort of one. There's very often a guitar-y sort of one. Maybe some of those guitar sort of emulation patches, which encourage the sort of shredding mentality on a keyboard. Maybe they should be. It's time to move on. Maybe it's time to
move on. Slap bass.
Slap button.
Oh, yeah.
You know, everyone skips the slap bass preset. Come on, admit it.
Well, it depends how good it is, though. I think sometimes when it's really, really good, there you go. When it's really, really good, and it might have a purpose, I suppose. You know, it depends as well, because these things are cyclical, aren't they? So, sorry, yeah.
So many of us would have sat there in front of a DX7 or, you know, or a D50 and gone through it patch at a time, and I'm just wondering how many stinker, and just
which one's the stinker?
Which one's the stinker of the, like, say, what is it, 32 patch? Well, how many patches on the original DX7?
32. I think there were banks there, weren't there? Were there A bank and a B bank, or was it?
So
no, they were banks of 32.
what was the biggest stinker on the DX7 when it launched?
I know what we need was somebody to
Motorcycle
develop
sound.
some sort of AI analysis technology to take all of the music that's ever been created and identify the patches that were used in those keyboards, and then do a sort of inverse logic to find out the ones that never were used in the original banks. That's the sort of statistical study I require, right?
Wow, that's an amazing idea.
Yeah,
Yes.
come on,
we should
Google.
come up like a series of rules about it. So there could be like, it has to be a patch that is musical. So it can't be
Pitched.
like,
Yeah.
some weird sound effect or something like that. And it's got to be, so something musical. Because so many of those things are like, they'll have these like crazy sounds that like
Yeah.
you could just never could use. I mean, that's intentionally bad. But I think if we figure out some
Has
rules
to be
around it, it'd be
musical.
quite
Yeah,
fun to
I
do
think.
this.
Well, it could be a bit of fun if anyone fancies having a crack at it and playing something musical with something really rub. Matt, I put to you the steel drum patch on almost any synthesizer in history.
Steel drum, that's an easy one. I just put that through the Strymon Big Sky and then through the Eventide and then a Pitchfork, and you're happy.
That's cheating.
It's
That's
showing
cheating.
up though. The steel drum.
Oh,
is
you're
showing
not
up in
allowed
some
to use effects.
Ooh.
No, everything's got to be dry and up front.
Oh,
that
no,
is
Gaz.
tough.
Tell
What
you
about
what, here-
internal effects to the
Reference.
instrument? Surely.
A point of reference, Aphex Twins Cheetah EP from 2016. It's got the Cheetah MS800, was it? I might be wrong about that. But that little black synth with a 2-digit display, but that synth is really prominent on that album, and it's dry, it's just right up front. I think it's something bold about going that way with it,
Was it an MS6 or a?
Half rack one.
Half right. I don't know which one that was. Okay, I've got an MS6 here, which was lent to me by Ben Burling, the guy that we went to do the studio tour with, and I haven't got around to switching it on because I've got this kind of like I was thought I would use it in a Friday Fun thing, and I haven't got around to it because all I remember is it's 6-part multi-timbral and it's a hexadecimal parameter system with a 2-character display. And I'm just like, can I have? I suppose now I've got time. Maybe I could actually, maybe I should make an album with it.
Exactly. I think that it's a good point though, Nick. This is a good time to jump into equipment that you might have had lying around that you haven't used a while, and that might be because of its user interface, or I don't know, you just didn't gel with it or something, or I don't know, if you've got a couple of quid handy, treat yourself something brand new and just spend the next 2 weeks only using that or something to make some tracks.
Time to basically buy Electron gear then, possibly. I mean,
Been there, done that.
Anything that's a deep dive, that'd be the way to go.
Oh, yeah.
I think that, to sort of further on what Gaz was saying and Matt, it's like, this is the time. And what was the old punk record label here? They used to send out these clocks.
Stiff.
That said, Stiff Records. Yeah, they sent out the clocks that said, if you're killing time, then you're murdering the future. So, let's not kill time. Let's make something of. I mean, this is our time. Yeah. It's hitting all of us. So let's just use this time to make stuff.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, and there are so many things that you could put your time to. I mean, that's the thing. One of the things that Gaz actually brought up was the notion of this sort of online collaborative technology, because this is never really, I mean, there are some great examples, but the really, really real-time stuff, or as real-time as you could get it, is still, maybe this will be the period where somebody absolutely cracks that, because this is the sort of time when you really want to do that. But there are some alternatives. I mean, there's stuff that's working. As we know, I think we talked earlier, Gaz, that Endless.fm, which is Tim Exile's...
Big news there.
Big news there. They're launching, aren't they, at the end of the month?
Yep.
Coming out of beta.
March. Yep. It will be in the App Store. So... it's just going to be iOS on launch. So I know a lot of people will be like, harumph, but, stick with it because good things are afoot. And the launch on the 31st, I think, this is one of the most successful attempts that I've experienced of online or I say online, a collaborative jamming platform. And it does that. It achieves it in a simple way. And I know not everybody, but a lot of the audience will know it already. But
I tell you what, I've got a little intro video that I could play just to show that, to give it some context. Was that?
Yes, please.
That's not it. Or maybe I haven't. I downloaded it. No, I'm going to. Hold on, give me a chance. I'm going to get it. Because I downloaded one to play, and I just obviously didn't put it in the. I've become very forgetful in my Corona period. Here we go.
Who said that?
So this is Tim himself. Idea is, I think basically you create local loops which then buffer and then other people can then jump in on. So the idea is, because they're loops and it's a non-linear approach, people can add to it. And it's just a really marvellously simple idea, which has been used before, but it's also very, it's hard to get right so that people can sort of do it. So this is an example of somebody now joining that jam. And add effects and so on and so on. So you get the idea, but I mean, some of these get enormous, and there are public ones, there are private ones. I know that Tim has been posting a bunch of videos of sort of streaming of two people jamming. He did one with Mylar Melodies, and there was somebody else, which I don't remember who it was off the top of my head. And that's really interesting, just being able to do that. And so, that. But yeah, Gaz, there you go. That gives it some context. That's all I wanted to do, really.
I know, excellent. And I mean, it's been developing, and various things have kind of come along. Now the whole kind of community aspect of it is really at the forefront of it. So the first thing you'll experience when you go into the app is all these open jams that you can just jump straight on in, and accompanying each of the jams now is like a chat page, so there's all comments that was missing originally. So when we did the Sonic State Jam, for instance, which was an incredible success, we had 600 people jamming within the first. It was amazing. And it totally, it really did
soak tested the servers, right?
It totally did. So, but they were really thankful of it. So it was really cool. So really grateful to everyone who took part in that. One of the things with Endless, though, that's always been a little bit unsure about is the sort of pricing of it, and all of that stuff will become, fully available on the 31st. I think there's going to be a couple of free 2 months, I think, maybe.
So it's a subscription service, but hopefully it'll be affordable, right?
Yes, well, it still works when it's free as well. That'll all be
okay.
That's all coming on the 31st. So we're going to do. I'm going to make a little film here about how you can just use Endless with whatever equipment that you've got, and there's a couple of ways you can synchronize to it. One is with Ableton Link, so that's really easy. That's just the easiest way to synchronize things. Just your phone, then, which is running Endless.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, and then
feed audio into it somehow.
And you feed audio into it with Simple Audio Interface. Actually, an audio interface that works fantastically is the Electron Analog Heat as a class compliant interface connected to an iPhone. That is a very nice little, so
almost as expensive as an iPhone to buy. But yes, I take your point. Lovely signal path. We should. I know, Gaz, you're planning on maybe doing a video on showing how to hook up sort of audio interfaces.
Just how to hook it all up.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Just because I think the thing is, it comes with a bunch of sounds, and it comes with so that will lead it into an electronic music direction, but there's nothing stopping it being like really folky and really acoustic.
You can put your real-time audio into it, modular.
And there's that other thing. One thing about this, the other synchronization option is that you can run it out as and do it in mono, and one channel becomes an audio pulse to synchronize off. So
that's a really clever idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Matt, I imagine you'd be terribly excited by that as a possibility.
Yeah, well, I've been using I've been using it in beta version from very early days, and I'm really excited about this being launched. And Tim and the guys, great work. This is this is a really great piece of software. I'm almost convinced that they maybe actually created the coronavirus so we'd all stay indoors and play with this, because it's perfect timing for their launch on the 31st. Yeah. So if you are, when it does, in fact, I think now you can even go to the website and sign up as beta tester and get straight on it. But the effects in it as well are really, really great. I haven't actually used it with external stuff yet. I think that's maybe a new implementation with the click track, the pulse track that you can send out now. So yeah, I'm going to give this a whiz. Definitely, I'll be online playing with it. Definitely from the 31st. So I'll see you all online with that for sure.
I wish I could join you, but sadly I'm an Android, so I won't be joining you from that point of view. But I mean, there are other. I mean, we did some shout outs there. BandLab, a sort of more offline collaborative system, and that is free and runs across all platforms. And you can collaborate with people. It's more of a sort of offline type thing. But they've got, I don't know what it is. It's something like 11. I mean, it's millions of users. So you could just kind of go, anybody fancy working on my track, and you can immediately collaborate. You could do it on your phone. You could do it in the browser. That is a really powerful system, and that is completely free. Loads of free sounds with it. Well worth checking out too.
Yeah, Nick. Actually, a good point to mention about the Bandcamp thing is actually as a BandLab. Sorry. Oh gosh, yeah. Yes. The thing about BandLab is it's got a really clean and very simple recording. I mean, it's limited. It's too limited for most of us, but it is so clean and crisp. It's a great learning one, I think, as well for people.
Yeah,
I think. So for kids, for everyone's kids, because it's a free one, I think there's something nice about the crispness of it. Yeah, it's worth checking out, I think, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know, Charles, whether you have any other suggestions there. Have you tried any online collaborative stuff? We know there was that Steinberg VST Connect, but it never really quite got off the ground, did it? And didn't work properly for a lot of people.
No. Anyway. And there was a Reason one that I can't remember the name of offhand.
I was just looking that up online to see if I can remember that one.
Actually, I think I have I'm looking on my phone. I'm taking notes about what we're talking about at the same time. Let's see. Hold on, I'll find out.
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was either. That's a good point.
Can I just say something about, just quickly cut in, and about the Steinberg approach with VST Connect, also VST Transit, which kind of worked sort of simultaneously, Transit being able to do the sharing of projects, VST Connect being able to webcam and bringing in musicians and being able to do very sophisticated things, create complete monitor mixes for them. The playback would happen when it would use a sort of a faster, like MP3 type of compression just for the playback monitoring. But then as soon as the performance was done, then offline it would then
great idea
files afterwards, and and it's kind of cool sort of stuff. But one of the things that I think was not there was the need for it, and this, lots of other industries, when collaborative stuff makes a lot more sense. With a lot of music production, people really are like, the production part of it, people want to.
Well, I think for a lot of people, also to a lot of people, it's insecurity, isn't it? Because it's like, I can't play, everybody will laugh at me, or whatever it may be. There's that too, I think.
Oh, right, yeah.
Well, the other thing too is we have. I know that, like, okay, so I teach production and stuff like that, and a lot of the university is trying to get all these people who are wanting to be producers to network and so forth. And it's a tricky thing because even producers don't really network. The nature of what we do is very solitary, and anybody else who's doing the same thing, they're kind of the competition sometimes. And so it's not a big community sort of thing. And I think though that what's happening with this pandemic is that it's actually making us kind of just get over that and start to want to actually interact with other people. So again, a good side to all this, I mean, yes, there are many bad sides, but a good side to all this is changing the way people even think about interacting with one another creatively. So I'm quite excited about that.
Yeah, well, I think the other thing that we should mention is Ninjam, isn't it? That's the it's the thing from
Reaper. It was a
Reaper,
yeah.
and that uses Ogg Vorbis. And what it does is it creates a musical delay of a bar, say, so that you're absolutely in time, but you're just a bar later, which obviously is fine for jamming, but for structure stuff might be. But it could be good for record. I've not used that. I was looking because you mentioned it in your email prior to the show.
Do it.
Can you get offline sort of better quality stuff, or is it down to the end user to record it their end and then send it to you?
Oh gosh, good question. You certainly could do it that way. Yeah, it was quite banned. I haven't used it 14 years or something. You know, I think it hasn't had any development since about 2007, 2008. But you're absolutely right. It would add a certain amount of latency in, so it meant that you could always play in time, which, for dance music kind of things, more abstract things, brilliant. Absolutely hopeless for trying to play a song together. You know, it's really weird.
Talk about missing the change.
Yeah. Drum fills halfway through the vocal. Yeah.
Oh, it's so weird. It's so weird. Because you try and have a go at doing it, and you have to think, right, you've got to play like a bar in a different place. But it was fun. I think it's still working, but I don't think it's something that they've actively developed, though. So maybe someone in the chat room can enlighten us there. But certainly
it needs a server, doesn't it? Someone somewhere has to have something online that's doing the Ogg Vorbis encoding real time.
When we first started doing it, though, we would like joining these public jams, and there would be these guitarists just constantly soloing, and it was like, you'd be trying to join in the jam, and then we discovered how you could just mute out everyone as on the keyboard. I think you could have the keyboard as just set to your typing keyboard as mutes for the different channels. So you just used to mute all of these guitarists, you know, and just occasionally you'd be playing, you just unmute and just go, mute them back again.
That's a really interesting, that is a really interesting idea, isn't it? The idea of having a kind of almost like a multi-track that you can pick and choose. So if you had like a rhythm section who knew what they were doing, and you could just have them all coming in doing their thing, and then you just basically leap in on top of that, and then somebody goes, oh, that's good, and they could add that to, you know, so you could pick and choose what you might want, or another bass player might join in, ditch the bass player and replace it with their own. That's the interesting concept.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe you should restrict yourselves just to those terrible sounds. So steel drum, slap bass. Imagine that, a whole channel of that.
Typewriter.
A channel of just really.
Yeah. Just like.
What a fantastic idea. What a fantastic. And of course, when you've finished it, you can master it with some Ozone 9. See what I did there?
Ooh.
Building on a 17-year legacy in audio mastering, Ozone 9 brings balance to your mix with never-before-seen processing for low-end, real-time instrument separation, and lightning-fast workflows powered by machine learning. Expect lower CPU usage and shorter startup times with Ozone 9 compared to Ozone 8. Experience fluid metering in a fully resizable environment that lets you track the most subtle details of your audio. Use more plugins at once, mix while you master without worrying about slowdowns or dropouts. And immerse yourself in a smooth, modern experience designed to keep you in your creative flow. As you can see, Ozone 9 is the fastest way to get your master off the ground. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out our other videos and head to iZotope.com to learn more about mixing and mastering and to download your free trial of Ozone 9.
And we encourage you to do so, but of course, if you wish, you can also enter the competition that we are running. Well, let's do the competition first, then we'll do the winner of last week's over. We're looking for, and I didn't just do this while the ad was playing, we're looking for the hashtag Finish the Mix. Look at how copacetic is that? Look at the hashtag Finish the Mix and the hashtag Ozone9 to @SonicState and @Isotope Inc. So basically, you tweet that in a tweet, add any other words or characters, or send us a picture or whatever, keep us entertained. And I know that Isotope monitor it, so we're looking for that, basically, this in a tweet. Let me see if I can. So this in a tweet, if you're watching on video, send that, and then we'll pick that for next week. the winner will get a copy of Isotope Ozone 9 Advanced, by the way. So it's the full fat version. And we have a winner for last week, and it's someone called Will Jordan, who is at Mr. Will 1L. And he tweeted the requisite hashtags. So Mr. Will Jordan, if you want to get in touch, Isotope will be able to pass on a copy of Ozone 9. And this brings up another thing really as well, because I think there's going to be, we maybe spoke about it last week, the idea that there's going to be a boost in maybe software innovation, because that's something you can share easily. You don't have to worry about getting it made. If people can't go to work for a bit, you can get immediate gratification. So I'm wondering if there'll be some big increases in productivity, perhaps in the big DAWs as well, as all the programmers are kind of essentially grounded and can't do anything else. Then maybe they'll come up with some really exciting ideas. I don't know, but there's all sorts of potential there for kind of some new innovation. I mean, hardware will be innovated as well, but it'll just take longer for us to see that, I think, because obviously it has to be made and then it has to be distributed, and all that stuff has to come back together. Although I think Amazon is still delivering. I mean, we got hard drives, by the bucket the other day, so you can still get stuff. It's just harder to be, it's not everybody's working, I suppose.
Yeah. I tried to order something on Amazon the other day.
Sorry, what?
Oh, I was going to say, I tried to order something on Amazon the other day, and it was on Prime. The delivery was like the 20th of April, something like that.
Right, I guess the drivers
is this
are probably...
Prime?
Yeah, not quite. Sorry, Matt, you were coming in there.
Yeah, I was just going to say about the software thing. I don't know if people out there are aware, but a lot of software developers have decided to give things away free.
Yeah.
While we're all stuck inside. There's I haven't got the full list, but I think there's Pro Tools. You can get Pro Tools 1, I think, isn't it? The free version.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's Ableton. You can get. I think Bitwig. I don't think Apple are doing it with Logic. I think they're the only DAW that aren't doing it. Native Instruments have just given away a synthesizer as well. Max MSP. Are giving away free licenses, I believe, to students and educators at the minute who are using this software that they might have been relying on the classrooms to engage with. So there's quite a lot going for free at the minute for people to kind of start exploring, trying out a few different things. I think there's a website somewhere with a whole list of all of these things that someone's collated together.
That would be a good thing to find. I'll have a dig around and see if I can find that thing. And that's also a valid point as well.
I think that might be is it Unidays or one of those things. I remember they had a list of all kinds of software that you could get for free or almost free, especially because of this. Maybe it wasn't. I think it was Unidays. It may have been Unidays. I'm not positive though. So I remember seeing it though.
And lots of bands are live streaming as well. So we got other content that you can watch while they get stuff together.
I think if anyone does have a spare week or two ahead of them, I certainly would recommend something like Max MSP. As Nick was saying, in terms of developing your own software and getting into that kind of thing, if you think of something these days, you can build it in software. There's a learning curve with Max MSP, and it is steep. Well, but once you get on it, but I remember learning Max as a student, and you spend a lot of time in forums and pulling apart pre-existing patches, but it's really great when the light bulb goes off and you're suddenly like, okay, I know how to make a reverb now, and I understand how they're designed or how a filter works, and you start building your own drum machines and sequencers. It's a great thing to get into. If any of you are sat around twiddling your thumbs, definitely download that from Cycling 74's website and have a play with that. The other thing that I'd say is there's the Reaktor, Native Instruments Reaktor blocks. If you're thinking about modular synthesis, and you want to get into that, and there's the Voltage Lab. I think they do that.
Well, and of course,
VCV, which is completely free to start getting. So if you want to start getting your head into the modular world, VCV is a great place to start playing around with. And lastly, somewhere I've been losing myself a lot is in Bitwig in the grid, which is just proving to me to be such a powerful tool for sound design, sequencing, how it integrates with the modular. It's just absolutely amazing. So they're my top picks for you to go and have a play with over the next couple of weeks. While you
Good
sit
thought.
around.
Thank you very much, Matt. That's excellent.
Quality.
Nicely done. Yeah, well prepared, sir. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll take my hat off to you because you've done a lot more.
Good.
Nice work. I've been thinking about a lot of other things. Obviously, one of the things we're thinking about is we've announced this QSonic event. The idea being that it's just literally a collection of product videos that, because all of these manufacturers, they couldn't go to Synthplex, they can't go to Superbooth, they're not able to do any of the other shows that were slated. So we're kind of trying to reach out to people and see if we can shoot a bunch of product videos or get them to send some stuff, and we'll release it around those kind of dates that were in Superbooth. It won't be. There will be some live streams, hopefully, as well. I mean, like this, maybe we can have some various people on the Sonic Talk thing and do some live streams. And we're in discussions with other entities and YouTubers to just try and make it a thing so that it all happens around the same time. And we can help try and make it into a shape of something, so there'll be something to look forward to. And that's going to be 24th to the 26th of April at the moment. I mean, obviously, everything has to be quite liquid because we have absolutely no idea what's going on. And that's, it may be that things change and we have to move things around, or it all is all fine. I mean, who knows? I might get ill, or do you know what I mean? We can't be absolute about this, but that's our plan. QSonic, and we'll be putting a bunch of stuff up, and we just got to shoot some things. No, everybody's going, yeah, I'm not ready yet. And it's like, yeah, but I can't wait till the last week to shoot all of these videos because there won't be enough of them, So, I mean, I totally understand that because everybody's working to a certain deadline, and now that deadline's been removed. Where's the hurry, And they're not going to start breaking their backs for us, I'd imagine, at this point. So, yeah, but that's the plan. That's what we're hoping to do. And the hardest part of that, coming up with a name, I can tell you, very difficult.
Yeah, good name, QSonic. I like it. I think it's really good.
Well, Q for cue the music, cue the video, and Q for quarantine, frankly, as well. It seemed to all fit together very, very well.
Yeah. That is a brilliant name.
So there we go. So that came to me as I was coming into work. Sorry,
can we have some competitions? We do like a QSonic theme tune competition?
I don't because at the moment I can't take anything else on, and that was a huge amount of work. Yeah. Maybe we can arrange a quiz. We could do a quiz.
Quiz would be good.
If anyone wants to send in any questions, we learnt a lot of lessons. 5-question rounds being one of them, I think, next time. But I've designed that whole mechanism, and I've got the leaderboard thing working out. I've sussed out all of the averages, so maybe we could have a quiz as part of that, and we'll do some live streams. And I'm sure the people at Superbooth are going to be planning some live stuff and live streams as well. So there will be a bunch of stuff happening around that time for sure. And it's going to be really exciting as long as logistically it doesn't become too complicated. But I think it's going to be great. I mean, I'm really looking forward to that. Although I would obviously be much rather be in Berlin drinking beer. When I wasn't working, I could be at home drinking beer, assuming we got left.
I'm going to create a jam on Endless called QSonic. So if anyone wants to join me there, that will be cool.
Oh, nice one, excellent.
Yeah. And we just get some riffs and some ideas.
So anyway, sorry, I don't know if anybody else had anything to add. I'm sort of loosely sticking to a topic now because the other topic was and this came. I was mentioning that because I didn't know what the lockdown situation was going to be in the UK, whether I was going to be able to come here and work or whether I would have to stay at home. I started to think, right, I really need to figure out what I'm going to take home. I mean, obviously, I need a couple of cameras. I need the computer equipment to be able to do this online content. But I also thought I'm going to need some synths, and literally I suddenly thought, the Prime Minister's doing the speech in half an hour. I need to go now because after he's finished, it might be immediate. So I really had to think, what is it I'm taking home? What is it I'm going to take home? I think and my criteria were small because of where I'm going is like basically a kid's bedroom with a double bed in it. There's hardly any space. There's like an alcove with a table. So I'm going to have to be really, so I went for some small things. But it did, amongst the Sonic Talkers, the email thread, there were some interesting things like, what would you choose? What would you take? It's not like quite leaving a burning building, but assuming the studio wasn't in your house and you had to go back and all you could take was, and that was I thought it was kind of an interesting thread. Matt, I think you did. Yeah, I'll let you say what you thought, but
Well, I don't know if this is cheating, but because my modular is in a case, and it's got a handle, I'll just pick that up.
Yeah.
So that's good to go. So if that's not cheating, if I can't have that, I'd choose the MS-20, which is patchable, semi-modular. You can run audio through it. And it's just a synth that I've had for a long time that I haven't really played much with. Here's me going on about you should spend some time with the stuff you haven't worked with. That's probably the synth for me that I've had the longest, that I've not had the most use from. So yeah, I grabbed that. I'd grab, also if it's not cheating, my guitar effects board, again, which is in a case. I just grabbed that, which has got some Strymon stuff in it, and Eventide, and some distortion delays, which is predominantly all my studio effects these days are guitar foot pedals, just guitar foot pedals. I don't have any outboard 19-inch rack stuff anymore. That's all gone. So those two things, and then I guess I'd have to grab the laptop as well, just because it will allow me to sequence and so much I can do and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that would be my three. Oh, it was 4 things or 3 things.
Well, I said 4 just because, I mean, I don't think it has to be, because, I mean...
Laptop in your bag, grab that's both hands and your backpack full, yeah, that'd be it, I suppose. I'm running out the house.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought, isn't it? I mean, I think what I chose, obviously I would have my laptop with me anyway, so I suppose that, but I chose more, my effects I thought Ventris, I just put the Ventris in, but it was a toss-up between that and the external... Mutable Instruments Clouds. But then I thought they've got an open source version of that in VCV Rack, so I don't really need it, which I could map.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think it's quite as good, maybe, but I could at least get some of those effects. I had to take the Keystep because I need a keyboard of some kind small. I took the Sculpt because that's tiny and it's got some lovely little poly sounds in it. And I grabbed... Well, I also grabbed the Neutron, but I also grabbed the DeepMind 12 because it's a 12-voice polysynth but it's in a desktop form. So they're small things that I can fit in the Moog case, which I don't think you can see it over there. No, it's not.
I mean, how many things are you taking with you?
Yeah, loads. But I mean, I'm just going through my thought process,
loads.
Really. But yeah,
I guess the other thing I thought I'd take is the Moog DFAM, which is my newest purchase. Oh God, I love it. It's really great. Someone made it in Reactor. When it first came out, and I thought, I don't need to buy one, it's there in Reactor. So there's always that toss-up between, there's a software emulation of a piece of hardware. Can I just use that on my laptop? But it's nothing like playing with this. It's totally different, in my opinion. I'd have to take the hardware.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Charles.
Yes.
I mean, I could, looking behind you, that's probably a tough ask. Give me some tearful farewells, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would take this mic, the Lewitt 640, which I love, the TS, because it can be a stereo mic or a mono mic. The OP1, the Teenage Engineering OP1.
Okay.
Laptop. I've got a Motu down there somewhere on the floor. A little Motu Ultralight. That'd be good. That'd be all I need. I could do everything I need to do with all that.
Check him out.
Yeah. You know what?
Impressed.
It's funny because I tour so much. This is actually stuff I've thought about. I mean, it's what I carry as my I'm going to make music while I'm on the road kind of thing. Anything I can fit into a small satchel, and that's pretty much everything right there.
I just want to point out, as your head in the chat room said, I'd take my Sonic State mug, of course.
Oh, that's really lovely.
Isn't that a beautiful thing? Somebody seems to be ringing on the doorbell. I better check in case it's something very important. Gaz, in the meantime, let's go over to you, Gaz, while I just go and have a look out the window.
Well, Gaz, talk.
For me,
what would you take, Gaz?
You'd have to grab an Infinity box first, wouldn't you? You know, which Infinity box would you pick? You know, that would be my first choice. I should clarify, Infinity box, I'm trying to, like, when things are called groove boxes, I think is a really derogatory term, a bit like how some things are like people don't like Rompler. I think Groovebox is a bit of a annoying term for Infinity boxes. You know, I think they've evolved beyond their original Groovebox thing. So a classic example of an Infinity box is an Octatrack, Electron Octatrack, a OP1. You know, these kind of things. Now, the new Poly-N tracker as well. Now, that looks really cool.
It does.
And I'm the Deluge as well, you know, which is one thing I haven't got that I would absolutely love. Those kind of things, I think, are really interesting. I'm really drawn to those things. So this is, in a way, this era is an era for those things now as well. Electron boxes, they're fantastic, but you do need to you need to put the time in with them. And, you know, the amount of subtle, amazing nuance that you can build into those things are really amazing. You know, so for me, the term Groovebox just feels like very rigid and very kind of, you know, steps. Because, you know, making music in just 16-bar chunks, you know, just... a lot of us do it, and a lot of the tools they make making music in those measures just so easy. So it's very, you know, it's easy to kind of just be a bit lazy with those things. But a good Infinity box should just really throw that open. So I want to see more Infinity boxes being made, really. That's just my kind of gear fetish, I suppose, you know. Well, but that's like, I digress. I was just having a eulogy there for the Infinity box, but I'm going to take 4 pieces of my kit. I would take my MIDI bass. This one. Ooh. That's that one. So that is Industrial Radio MIDI Pro 4. And I would take probably an Octatrack. I would also take probably Analog 4 as well.
Oh, yeah.
And the Rhythm.
So quite a big Electron. I suppose you could, because you could mix stuff with all of that stuff. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, that's what I would take. So
you can continue to evangelize Electron equipment, even in these, even to yourself.
Why do but I'm not alone with that Electron.
No, I know
thing.
You're not. It's funny. It's like people who...
It's a funny one, isn't it?
Yeah. In case people were wondering what just happened there, because the doorbell went and I looked out and it was a pharmacy delivery of drugs for somebody who doesn't live here but has given this address. So I figured I'd better let it in and leave it downstairs in case it's for the people in the shop downstairs, because they're going to need it. And obviously, you know,
anything interested in there? Was anything?
I doubt it, Gaz. I mean, I didn't bother to look. I just basically took the package. I took the package and washed my hands immediately and dashed upstairs to the job at hand. But yeah, that's all I did. Right, so yes, it's all right. I haven't been led away for not self-isolating. It's fine. Actually, one thing I will just also want to mention as well, for video conferencing, we discovered this thing called Zoom, zoom.us. And that's really good. It's the best one I've come across. But not only that, you can share very high-resolution screen capture with quite good frame rates. And for us doing these remote things, because that's one of the things we've been trying to solve, because it means somebody have to record locally, which they still might be able to. And you can record the sessions, and I think that runs on Mac and PC. I know it runs on Android. Yeah. I can use it on Android, and I can share the Android desktop. So there's quite a lot of interesting stuff you can do with that. That's well worth
my plan was to start learning that today, in fact.
Zoom is pretty easy.
My daughter's using it for her class. That's how they're doing all of her classes. It's all via Zoom.
I mean, they're going to pick up big style, though. I mean, it's a great service. I mean, I imagine it's going to creak a bit as we all.
I was feeling sorry for Zoom. I'm feeling sorry for Zoom, the company that we all know in the music tech world and camera world. I was just thinking, oh man, everyone's talking about Zoom now. And it's just like,
but it's not them.
What is the last thing that Zoom made, though? They
make Zoom. They make Zoom. The Zoom recorders. They're still going strong.
Oh, that's right. Handheld.
But they did the 3D one. They do. Yeah, the Charles has got one there.
Of course.
They do. They do those. They do guitar
the
effects. Yeah, they use guitar effects. There's quite a lot of stuff. And they've actually got a 3D camera and audio. Is that the one you've got, Charles? Because there's one that's got a 360 camera.
This is the yeah, this is the 3D audio, and then I've got the Fusion camera over there that mounts to the other side of this. So it mounts on this side of it, and then this hangs underneath it. And I get 2 different ambisonic recordings. So one from the camera and one from this, which is a little bit better quality.
So what do you use those for? Are they for gigs or just experience, or how?
Yeah, well, because I'm trying to teach mixing out. I mean, I teach it at the university, but I'm trying to teach it outside of that too. So for shows, I'll have I'll record almost all my shows. I have my console in front of me, my effects rack to the side, and then I have a 360 camera kind of right here at my face. So that's a weird thing about it so far. But that way people can choose to watch what's happening on stage, watch what I'm doing with my hands, or watch what I'm doing on the effects rack, because I'm interacting with the effects constantly, because I'm throwing delays back to the stage and everything. So I'm a very active mixer. And so if they hear a certain thing I'm doing, and they go, oh, let's look over and see what he was doing with the Chaos Pad, and then they can see what I was doing on there.
That's really
so. Yeah, so I've actually got a video posted up, although it's hidden right now. It's one I did at the Microsoft Theater in LA with OMD, but I haven't around to editing it yet. I just wanted to see if it worked on YouTube. But yeah, it those 360 videos are great. I love doing it.
That sounds like a real. I mean, this is the sort of thing that we're talking about, isn't it? These are sort of innovative use of the technology that's available. As soon as you mentioned that, I just thought brilliant, because you can see the stage, you can see what you're doing. Are you commentating while you're doing it, or that's probably a bit more?
No, it's too loud. But what I have is I am commentating via text. So if there's a certain effect that hits, if they want to back up, if they hear it and then they want to back up the video and look, suddenly, like right where my hand hits, there'll be a sign above saying, this is the button I hit for a snare splash. And it shows me hitting it. And then when I let it go, it sort of, that text fades away. So that's, I was trying to teach myself how to use Adobe Premiere. And so I kind of know Adobe Premiere now. And now I'm trying to figure out if there's a way I can stream using OBS, or whatever that. Yeah, using OBS, stream 360 on that as well. But yeah, I'm really into it. Like, so I have 3 GoPro cameras. I've got this ambisonic and a stereo recorder, and I've got my console configured for doing not only multi-track work, but also sending out mix minus things. So that, mix minus is like, you say if you want like a mix without a guitar in it, or a big mix without the lead vocal, various things like that, because some things you're going to want a little bit differently. So I've got this, I've actually been slowly and kind of quietly developing this whole setup for showing people how to do things. And
nice.
Yeah. So
it sounds like we will have to chat a little bit. What you need. This is another thing. I mean, the interesting thing about all of this stuff, all of this gear, everybody now, because bands are thinking about it. I mean, Gaz, you've had the same problem. It's like people are kind of snapping up all of this hardware that enables us. Like, there's a little Vision mixer, Blackmagic Mini, which you can't buy because they're being sold. Matt has Matt. What's the one that you have? It's the V.
So I use GoPro, which I've got 3 or 4 GoPros. They go into HDMI inputs on a Roland V1 HD, little video switcher basically, which sits down here, and you can manually switch between the different inputs, or you can have it done over MIDI. So you can have it sequenced to the music that you're doing, or you can just have it you can set a timer and it'll just flick between the different inputs sequentially, basically. So it just goes around. One thing that I can't do, I don't have time to do videos and then sit and edit. So I edit on the fly. That's why I've got the video switcher. That's my approach to all of this. It also then takes the audio in as well and synchronizes it, and it's all good to go.
And it shows up as the important thing is it shows up as a virtual webcam, which means for things like if you're not connecting to an actual streaming service, like the video system that we use is in the browser. So for these remote guests, so they could. So Matt, I don't know if you could use that as an input as what we would see, and then we would be able to see the different shots as Matt chose to do them. Yeah, so maybe Charles, you should look into something like that, because that means you could stream.
I made a note of it.
Yeah,
it's great. It's really cool. You can still get them. They could probably do a lot more than I do. They've got effects built into them as well.
Are they expensive? Or are they're not too bad? The stuff's a bit more expensive. Yeah. bit more
But
expensive.
he's built really good, and the output is very high quality. It does 1080. It handles 4K, I believe. But if anyone out there is thinking about getting into just budget live streaming, particularly now, there seems to be loads of people doing it. I've been invited to loads of Facebook groups where it's just musicians just streaming, just doing stuff from their bedroom, and obviously you can do it on your phone. If you're doing it from your phone, the cheapest thing you probably get is one of those Behringer USB mixers, which will plug into your phone if you've got the right adapter. That then plugs into your laptop via USB, and you've got audio going and video that way. But if you want to step up from that, you want to head over to elgato.com. That's ELGATO. I thought I'd say that just because I'm northern. Elgato, I don't know how you'd say it. And you want to get yourself. They do this little USB dongle. It looks like a USB dongle. It's
everywhere.
The Camlink. Really? I've just sold one on eBay. I should have maybe bumped up the prices, but anyway.
Yeah.
But what this does, it's a little USB dongle. You know this in Gaz. You plug it into your Mac. It's got a HDMI input on one end, USB on the other, and you plug your camera into it. Anything that's HDMI, it'll take the audio. Obviously, HDMI takes audio and video. It'll take it into your computer and it'll show up then as a virtual camera. It's the easiest one to do. But obviously, it only gives you one camera.
That's what Dom was using. That's why he's got this lovely old Nikon and some really nice glass, and he goes in via one of those, which is why his image looks so great, because he's got such a lovely thing. I mean, I think this is all valid stuff, because a lot of people out there are probably thinking, hey, I should start doing this because I can. Now, Gaz is there.
You see, I've got a pair of these Canon M50s, which was recommended to me by Dave Kidd and Bo Beats. They, like vloggy cameras, but it has got a USB out on it. So as well as the HDMI out, you can plug that, and this is what I've just done yesterday. You can take that USB out and into your computer. On the Mac, I've found a thing called Cam Live. I think on PC it's called, it's a different name on PC. And then that enables you to get like a stream. So then on OBS, if you look, it's not in a video source. It's in a Siphon.
Okay. OBS, for those people who perhaps don't understand, is Open Broadcast Studio, which is an open source free download. And lots of people use that for their streaming setups, but it's quite hard because usually you would send your stream directly to the server, so you type in like a URL, whereas for something like this, you need to just input it to the browser or into Skype or into one of those things. So those are the tricky things to sort out. Perhaps we're straying a bit, but those cameras are definitely very good.
Well, yeah, and I think it works with loads of Canon cameras. So just if you just not considered using your DSLR or something as a webcam, I've only just done it myself yesterday, and it's like, okay, it's pretty cool. There are caveats. But actually, the one is quite cool, Nick, for M50. Yeah. The Cam Live, it strips everything off the screen, so you can still use all of the controls, the autofocus and all that kind of stuff. How does
it do that?
Yeah, it does it. It does it. Yeah, it does.
Interesting.
It
okay, well, these are there are lots and lots of resources. We think music production is complicated. Wait till you start getting into video; it's a completely different world. I mean, what we use here, the system we use here, is complex, but it's evolved. We've been through most of those tools, and now we use something called vMix on the PC, which is a very expensive piece of software, but allows us to run the studio, allows us to stream, do all of those things, all MIDI control, but it's a serious investment. But OBS works on Mac and PC, and you can do loads of transitional stuff, and it's definitely something to look at if you're considering all of these things. Anyway, so we should probably, maybe we could do something a bit more on this if people are really interested, but I think as we become isolated, that sort of thing makes a lot of sense to people to getting into. And I've been helping a couple of people out on Facebook who go, it doesn't work. And there are so many things to consider. Is your connection wired or wireless? Is your bandwidth enough to get it out there? Is there a delay on the audio? There are things that you have to kind of think about, and it's a bit of an overload, but maybe now's the time, because hell, what else are you going to do? It's, there you go. Gosh, it's nearly 5 o'clock and we didn't have any topics. How about that, Matt?
Just on that last point, just on that last one there, Nick, just to follow up just a little bit, if obviously there's so many different platforms, I usually stream straight to YouTube, but I'm going to try Twitch and Facebook Live. Now, if you want to stream to those 3 places at the same time, again, it's complex, and usually you have to pay a subscription to something like Restream.io, which allow you to
use that. Yeah,
you use that. Do you?
Yeah.
It allows you to stream to multiple platforms at the same time, which is great because from a single input, and it does all of the encoding, decoding. Otherwise, imagine if you was trying to stream to those 3 platforms from the same computer, your bandwidth would need to be massive because you'd be sending the stream out 3 times to 3 different places. Whereas with something like Restream, as you know, Nick, it takes 1 stream, and then from its server, I guess, it spits it out to the 3 different places.
Yeah. It relays it out.
Yeah. So you got to think about where where the people are that you're streaming to, your audience, where they're hanging out the most. Mine seem to be more on Instagram and YouTube. But I heard that, I think Instagram TV, I think they're pulling that. I think that's going. I think that's becoming a thing of the... Yeah, so I hear.
Oh, I've just started uploading most of our videos to Instagram TV. Oh, dear. Well, that's nice to know. Oh, wow. Okay.
Sorry about that. I might be wrong.
Is that the live stream or just the long-form uploads?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, just I don't think people are using Instagram for long form. Basically, that's not what they're there for. It hasn't worked. It hasn't really worked. Yeah, I mean, I've done it. I've uploaded stuff there all to my channel. But I'm pretty sure it's going.
Oh,
just double check it in case I got that wrong. But I'm pretty sure already.
I imagine it'll go slower. And given the current situation, there won't be as many people around to switch it off. I don't know if that works. Or to read the message out. Yeah, okay. Okay, well, that's...
Or even with what's happening now, that might sort of artificially keep it afloat for a while.
Yeah, that's true. Know. That's true. Mm-hmm. Maybe we could start a petition. I don't know. But anyway, well, thanks for that extra info. I know we kind of, maybe not purely music production, but it's a music production transport. It's a medium that we're all going to need to have information in and about. And and we're about, like say, with the QSonic event, we're going to be doing this with multiple people sending stuff to us. We're aiming for 2 cameras and a sound stream. We want all of that stuff. So we are going to be solving a lot of those problems, I hope. But yeah, I hope some of that information was useful to you guys, and everybody can benefit to a certain degree. Okay, well, I think that's probably it for tonight. I want to say thank you very much to everybody. It's been great fun. Thank you for joining us for the sort of free-form vibe of it all. I think, perhaps there'll be more of that kind of thing, because as the news slows down a little bit, you can only announce so many plug-in updates via Sonic Talk, because obviously everybody's doing other things, keeping themselves safe. And as we say, please do keep yourself safe. Follow the authorities, guidelines where you can, and try and keep away from people that aren't your immediate family, because it will slow this thing down, that's for sure. So, Matt, thank you very much for joining us from Brighton. You doing any streams? You got anything lined up kind of coming up?
I am, yeah. So, as some of you might know, I've been moving house twice within 6 months. I won't go into that, which has meant that I haven't been able to do much live streaming at all. I'm now set up. I've got my videos ready. I've even got a splitter now, so I can take my screen and I can show you what I'm doing on there as well as on my synths. So starting, I think probably the first one's going to be Friday night. Let's have it. Just go hard. Let's do some hard techno party at mine. So tune in for that one. And then there's just going to be loads coming up. I'm going to do a rig rundown. I'm going to be doing some interviews with some people. I've got a craft synth to build that I'm going to build in real time, and then we're going to plug it in and play with that as well. So head over to my YouTube channel, like and subscribe, and I'll be doing some more of that. Yeah, I'm going to get on it pretty hard. A lot of people in the chat room have been emailing me and saying we want some more videos. So that's coming back at you.
Go for it. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Matt. And
cool.
Yeah, I might tune in myself.
Nice.
And thank you also, Mr. Charles Chicky Reeves, for joining us there from London.
Gladly.
And I'm I hope you continue to enjoy your Hydrasynth experience. I thoroughly
I will.
recommend you get
I will.
patch creating as quick as possible. That's the best fun.
I will do that. I might even, because since I'm doing my own channel as well, I might actually do a thing like just building patches from scratch, and it depends on what people suggest. Right now, all I'm doing is making videos about how to survive this. but as a little, everybody needs a break, so maybe we'll take a little musical break, and I'll make a video of that too. So, but yeah,
Excellent.
things are good, and just as long as we keep plugging along, we'll all be good.
Yes, I agree. Keep playing music, and it's good for the soul too. And Mr. Gaz Williams, thank you as well. I didn't need to tell you that. You know that. You've known that for a long time.
So, yes, just a few reminders then. The stinkers patches.
Yes.
So somehow, how can we round up the stinkers patches? Because I want to know what the worst patches of all time are.
Upload a video and send us the link.
Okay.
Everybody.
That's a good idea. And then the other thing is a jam on Endless as well for under the QSonic name. So
Q-Sonic.
Q-Sonic. Yes, the dash is crucial. So come and join that jam and just throw some like QSonic jingles into the jam. A jingle jam. Jingle jam. The jingle jam.
Jingle
jams. Do they have jingle jam?
I'm not quite sure about that. Well, that sounds like fun.
Do jingle writers get together and when do jingle writers jam together? Is it really jingly, like super jingly, or do you think that the jingle cancels it out and you have like a kind of,
or maybe more jangly than jingly?
I can't imagine that you could do a jingle in a jam, because they have to be quite to the point, don't they?
Yeah, but really short jams. Like, short jams, like 17, 18-second long jams,
Oh, that's an interesting one. Oh, yeah,
For short attention spans.
I'll throw that up there, which is that's the sort of
Jingle
flyer
jam.
for the QSonic event, just so it's there somewhere in the screen. But yeah. Nice one, Gaz. Well, folks, thank you very much for joining us.
What about you, Nick?
Oh, yes.
How are you going to keep yourself busy in this time, man? What you got planned?
Me, I'm going to be recording endless videos for QSonic event, I'd imagine.
Oh, okay.
Hell yeah.
I've got a month of trying to talk people through how to send us content. That's going to be my thing. And also, obviously we're going to try and get some form of sponsorship for that to try and keep the food coming in, because that's a consideration too for us, as with everybody. But we're all self-employed, so we're not getting the government payout. So we have to kind of look after things. But
Tim Exile's just approved the QSonic jam there on Endless.
Hey, excellent.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So yeah, I've got plenty to do, but I think I might. I'm going to shoot some content with Yoad. Yoad Navo very kindly said, "Hey, I fancy doing some videos of tips and tricks." And I was like, "Okay." So we spent a couple of hours last week, kind of going, "How can we get the tech set up?" So we think we got that sorted out, so that we could just do that with him. And I think
awesome.
Charles had a thumbs up there. We might do some stuff with Charles, and he's got all his things too. So it's all possible. So
awesome.
Plenty of stuff to do. Our plan is to get as much content out there and continuing as possible, because there's loads of people sitting in their facilities with maybe nothing else to do. So why ever not? So anyway.
I reckon there's good stuff coming as well. I reckon a load of good stuff that was going to come out of Super Booth is still going to come out. So I reckon keep your eyes peeled. I think there's going to be some amazing announcements soon.
Yeah, well, I do.
It'll come out via Super QSonic state.
Let's hope so. Yeah. Folks, thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget, if you want to join the competition, we're looking for the hashtag. I'll put that. If you want to win a copy of iZotope Ozone 9, we're looking for the hashtag Finish the Mix and the hashtag Ozone 9 to @SonicState and @iZotope Inc. for a copy of iZotope Ozone 9 Advanced. That's it, though, for this week. Thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure. Everybody keep your spirits up and enjoy the time you can productively. See you later. Thanks for watching.
Bye, everyone.